All right, folks. Okay, can you hear me? If on YouTube someone can tell me, because I'm not certain. Okay, can you hear me? Yes, okay. It's working. All right. So, for some reason, the chat isn't working. I can't see any comments that are being made. So, hmm. So before we begin, today's Hayom Yom, the Rebbe's thought of the day. The Shaler Zi, he was like the grandfather from Shpola, who lived to a ripe old age of 86, passed away in the year 1812. So that's pretty phenomenal back in the day. So when he came to visit the Alter Rebbe and Liadi in 1809, 1810, he told the Alter Rebbe that when he was 3 years old, the Baal Shem Tov touched his heart, literally, physically. And as a result, he has felt warm ever since. A gesture from a righteous person is something that has a long-lasting effect. Second, let's just get the right words here. A mere gesture of a righteous tzaddik, all the more so seeing or hearing his voice, should generate an effect that will never be forgotten. Wow. So here is teachings from the Alter Rebbe that over 200 years since his teachings have been available to us. And the teachings are now more prevalent than ever before. It needs to make an impression on us. If you see a video of the Rebbe, it should make an impact on us. That's the greatness of the righteous. And yesterday, in chapter 10, we spoke about the righteous. We spoke about yesterday, the righteous, and how they've transformed their inner world. Anything that's negative, anything that is a desire that's not unto God, a simple desire just to eat because you're hungry, not even to eat, you know, lust, for the desirably. You're thirsty, so I just had a coffee. I needed a little my head was whatever, and I needed it. So I didn't have it for the pleasure of it. Especially, I didn't have David's coffee this morning. Mhm. But I had it for the desired um, effect that I needed. That not might not necessarily be something that's a reflection of my divine soul. Probably not. Um, and did I have some kind of personal pleasure in it? Yeah, that's not righteous. That's not righteous. The righteous are so evolved that a mere gesture of theirs, as the Baal Shem Tov put his hand literally on the heart of a 3-year-old, and the warmth that he felt then never left him. Now, he himself became righteous at 3 years old. He wasn't righteous. He became righteous, and it was always full of warmth. That's like, wow. So how important it is that we have a righteous person in our lives. Not me, by the way. Um, I'm together in the same group as you. And I'm not saying that out of humility, as we will all explain shortly in today's teachings. But just I'm going over the teachings that we had previously with the Hayom Yom, just so we can appreciate the immensity of that thought of a mere gesture of a righteous person. How unbelievable that is. And we have the teachings of the righteous. And the Alter Rebbe is not just righteous. He is the Rebbe, the leader of his generation, the Moses of his generation. So that's even beyond, or completely beyond the righteous. And we have access to him. And of course, excuse me, in our generation, we have access to the Rebbe, even though over 30 years ago the Rebbe physically passed from this world. But his spiritual presence, his spirit, is more present today than ever before. And we have access to it by seeing videos, which I encourage everybody to see videos of the Rebbe and to connect yourself. Today, as there's more people being connected to the Rebbe today than when he was physically alive over 30 years ago, which is like phenomenal. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ron coming to you, as you can see, not from Chabad Zichron Kedeshim. But for another couple of days, I'm away, involved in a Chabad elsewhere. Anyways, not for now. Today, we come to chapter 12. Chapter 12 is what we are striving for, what this book is all about. This book is not about the righteous. We're not going to become righteous. I'm not going to become righteous. You're not going to become righteous. What we hope is that the previous chapter about a Rasha, someone who's got a stain on their soul, which we do, that we lessen the stain, and we are, you know who we are? BITs, Beinoni in training. Chapter 12 is about the Beinoni. And from here on in, we're going to be speaking about who we are to become. So it's going to be a journey, a journey of who are we to become. So I am exactly like the rest of you here, a BIT, a Bainani in training. And that's what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve that whatever we were yesterday, today, we're more aligned with our divine soul today than we were yesterday, less um, uh, moved, tempted, uh, uh, taken by our animal soul. Are we going to become the Bainani? Halavai, Bainani, Halavai, so be it. But that's not what um, what's the word I'm looking, should overtake us. Oh, I'm not the righteous. I'm not the, even if you're not the Bainani, okay, neither am I. But a Bainani training, the fact that this is the direction that you want to take, wow, this is beautiful. So, bearing that in mind, the Bainani, which the word means intermediate. Why intermediate? Because it's between the righteous and between the Rasha, the wicked. The Bainani is an individual who the animal soul never attains enough power. Not that it doesn't have power, but doesn't have enough power to conquer the inner, not the inner person, the small city. Right? In chapter 9, we spoke about the battle that there is, that two kings want to conquer the small city. So each person is a small city, their body. And it doesn't have enough power to clothe itself in the body to make the person sin. Meaning, where does sin take place? Where do we get disaligned? Where do we lose it? In our actions, in our speech, in our thoughts, right? Those are called, as we've learned previously, garments of our self-expression. So never does it happen to the Bainani that he will have a forbidden thought, a meditated forbidden thought, right? So we'll learn more about a forbidden words, like speaking nasty to another person, nasty because you're upset at them. Sometimes you might speak harsh and it's necessary, right? But we're talking about speaking nasty when it's, just out of your frustration or whatever the case may be, right? That won't happen. Or any action that comes from the animal soul, which the animal soul is bound up in klipa, the shell that covers over on the divine. So it doesn't prevail within the individual over the divine soul that it should clothe itself, vest itself, right? Meaning we get to choose the clothing we want to wear. We could take the clothes off and on at will. What is that? Our thought, speech, and action, as we've learned in the past, right? So meaning that the mind, the mouth, the actions of the person will not transgress any of the 613 commandments of the Torah. And not only that, the Bainani will never commit any transgression, nor will he ever transgress, as long as he's in the world, in the life of the Bainani. Of course, there's always freedom of choice, but in the life of a Bainani, won't happen, right? However, the core essence of the soul What's the essence of the soul? Well, actually here, core essence means, in this terms, it means the intelligence itself and the heart itself, meaning Chabad, Chachma, Bina, V'das, the three parts of the mind, right, of the brain, and the seven emotions that we have. Chesed, words, sense of Yesod, Malchus, right, kindness. We've learned in the past the emotions. Those, there's not undisputed sovereignty when it comes to the garments, choosing what kind of clothes I want to wear, of thought, speech, and action. That undisputed. But when it comes to feelings, when it comes to the mind's perspective, how it sees it, how the mind perceives things, is the cup half full or the cup half empty? That there isn't, there isn't only complete sovereignty of the divine soul. The divine soul having complete sovereignty over the mind and the heart would be a righteous person, right? Would be a righteous person, not just in their choice of, garments to wear, of thought, speech, and action, but of literally perspective. The righteous, they don't see the world cup half full. They see it completely full. They don't have in their hearts a desire for, fulfilling their, self-directed pleasures and comforts and self-fulfillment. Oops. I don't know what happened there. Just decided to. Okay. So there's none of that by the Beinoni, except at certain times, specific times, where the divine soul will have undisputed sovereignty and the animal soul won't have an effect. And that will be during the Shema, the Amida, in prayer. There can be times of prayer where what's called prayer is called Meichen de Gadlus, where the mind has a greatness that it can perceive and appreciate and sense in the heart the greatness of God through being aware, meditating. So the Beinoni is able to meditate upon the greatness of God to such a way that there'll be a real desire in the heart for God, a real desire in the heart, which that desire in the heart, from the awareness of the mind to the desire in the heart, will lead the Beinoni to fulfill Torah and mitzvahs. That's what will happen. However, that's only during prayer. After prayer, what happens is the state of greatness of the mind and the connection through the awareness of God that comes through prayer, that feeds the heart, is gone. And the Beinoni, the left part of the heart where the animal soul's desires are there, are no longer dormant. They now are out in the open, if you will. And the desire for delights of this world, right? To enjoy the beautiful sunshine, to the beautiful weather, to enjoy, is something that is a desire that the Beinoni has. By the righteous, there's no such desire to be, in nicer weather. No such thing. But for the Beinoni, it will come. Right? That desire. The difference is that it won't control him in his thought, speech, and action, but it will be something that will be a battle that he has to engage in. That's the beginning of what we're trying to achieve. A self-mastery. I call it, especially, coming from Montreal, we have, cold winters. I call it weathering the weather. Weather is not what, will dictate my day. Whether the weather is warm, whether the weather is cold, not going to dictate how I'm going to lead my day and live my life. That's at least a message to take out from today of you and I being a Bainani in training. And if we live with that, in other words, yeah, do most people like warmer weather? A nice background like here? Yeah, but that's not what it's about. I'll weather this too. I'll weather it too. Really, what happens is about me inside of me. Where am I living? So here we're beginning now the journey for the Bainani in training. And God willing, it's going to be a wonderful journey, a pleasant one with its challenges. But the hope is that in the challenges, we see the blessing of being the Bainani in training. Would that be amazing or what? Oh, what's going on here? Okay, here it's that would be amazing. All right, folks, we will continue our conversation, our learning together. Our Fabringen.